everyone, and welcome back to another video by yours truly, Richmond Reader, aka Emily. I am on a mission to read 8 books a month for the rest of the year to get caught up in my Goodreads challenge. And it's actually happening. If you saw my previous video, you will know that I actually completed my September goal to read 8 books. So here are the 8 books that I plan to read in the month of October. TBRs though. TBRs don't always work for me because I like to read books that correlate to how I'm feeling at the time. So if I want to read some sort of murder mystery, I'll grab one of those. If I want to read some sort of cute contemporary thing, I'll read one of those. So planning out what I'm going to read isn't my favorite thing in the world. It sounds so good. I need to finish 50 books this year or else I will be very disappointed in myself. So let's talk about the potential books that I really want to read this month, that I hope I read this month, and that I'll talk to you about at the end of the month. October is famous for its creep factor, for its scary fantasy feeling. So I'm going to read a lot of creepy books this month. The first book I want to talk about is one of the most special books I think I have acquired in the recent years, and that is Give the Dark My Love by Beth Revis. I bought this book on this book's book birthday, and Beth Revis herself signed it for me. And it came with a couple extra goodies. On her book tour, I got to ask her questions and we got to play games. It was really fun, and I did not realize how dark her newest book was. The way she described it at her book tour stop here in Richmond was it's filled with amputations and death and the plague and raising the dead. I saw death itself. It was a feral thing made of smoke and shadow. It was hollow and empty and hungry. I believe she lives on Lunar Island originally, and then she goes to this school over here somewhere. It doesn't say it in the inside jacket cover synopsis, but Beth Revis, when she was talking about her book, gave us a little more information. Basically, Nedra's idea for fixing or curing the plague is to raise the dead, to give life back to the people who were already ravaged by the plague. Hashtag necromancy. And I love my medical stuff, so I'll show you the book swag that Beth gave us. This is one of my favorite things ever when it is a bookmark that is a personalized bookmarker that goes along with the book. This is like a business card. This is so cool. The second book that I plan to read in the month of October is a reread of Vicious by V.E. Schwab. We already know about this book and how amazing it is, but I want to do a reread in preparation for the glorious Vengeful. This book is also quite special to me because I went to B&N, Barnes & Nobles, and I got a signed copy. What? The cost of this book was not something my wallet wanted to participate in whatsoever, but I made it. I would like to also say that this sticker and this sticker were on this book. This is rubbish. Oh, please don't. Oh, please don't. Okay. This sticker took so long to get off. Do you know how much of a dedicated book lover I am that I scraped all the goo off from this sticker? She's got guns. I want to do a reread of Vicious and then go right into this book blind, so I'm not really going to synopsisize this book too much for you. The first 2 books I talked about were signed. Now here's a third one that is not signed yet, but I plan to get it signed. And that is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. Kiersten White is going to be at Y'all Fest. I am going to Y'all Fest. I am taking this book, void of the jacket, because who wants to get that damaged and ripped and dented? But I'm going to get this signed because she's going to be there. And I don't know, but she has a new book coming out next year called Slayer that I'm really hoping she has arcs for at Y'all Fest. I don't know though. If anyone knows this information, please tell me in the comments below. I need to know, because I'm gonna wait in line. This book is so beautiful. I actually bought it the same day I bought Vengeful. These 2 books alone were like, oh my gosh, this book, I just wanna like, if books could be stuffed animals that you like cuddled with to fall asleep with in bed, if they were more comfortable, this would be a book that I would cuddle with. It's gorgeous. One of the other awesome things about this book is it was published 200 years, like 200 exactly years after Frankenstein by Mary Shelley was published. So this book is about Elizabeth, who is this poor, skinny, bruised, kind of starving girl who gets chosen, saved in a way, to come live with Victor. In this novel, Elizabeth is taken in by the Frankenstein family, which is exciting to me because it sounds like we're gonna actually meet like Victor Frankenstein's parents, maybe other siblings. Actually, I don't think he has other siblings because it says that she is kind of brought into this family to be a friend to Victor, to kind of indulge his every whim, which could be dangerous, considering what we know of Victor Frankenstein now. It sounds like Victor, the creator of the Frankenstein monster, is a kid. I'm gonna guess that this is a retelling of the Frankenstein monster if the monster was female. This book just sounds so freaking awesome, and I'm so excited to read it. I said in a previous video that I have not yet read Renegades by Marissa Meyer, yet love her. This is a hefty book, and hefty books are intimidating to me, but I really want to read this month because the sequel's coming out. I forget the exact publication date of Arch Enemies, so I will just put it right here in the front of my face. So I'm finally going to pick it up now in lieu of the sequel coming out. I'm not sure if I said in lieu in the right context, but I'm going to keep it. I literally know nothing about this book. I know that it's Nova, and I was thinking that there were robots, but I now think that this is just armor, like it's their uniform. The Renegades are humans with supernatural abilities, and Nova has some sort of beef with them. I don't know what happened to her, but she wants revenge. I think she tries to infiltrate the Renegades, but then she meets one of them named Adrian, and I think they fall in love, and that probably puts speed bumps in her revenge plot. But I have high hopes for this book, and I will read it this month. I will. If I start it on October 1st and finish it on Halloween, well, that's fine. The next book I want to read in October is another book that was collecting dust for a while, Artemis by Andy Weir. You may recognize the name Andy Weir from The Martian, because he also wrote that. As you can probably tell, I am a big fan of getting the book before seeing the movie, because that's the order of life. I just want to point out that there is a running theme here, and that is the moon, the island in Give the Dark My Love by Beth Revis, and this is about life on the moon. Me and my fiance Doug actually subscribed to this at the same time and got the same book. He read it and loved it, and this is going to be my Doug Recommends for October. Doug Recommends is a little segment that I want to incorporate into my channel where my fiance reads books that I wouldn't necessarily read, but then he recommends me one, and I read it, going out of my comfort zone, or maybe it is my comfort zone, you never know. And then of course I'll talk about it in my wrap-up to see if he recommended me a really good book or a dud. This channel is new, and we've only ever done this one time before. He recommended me Scythe, which I loved, so high hopes for this one. I'm sure it's going to be great. If I could summarize this book in one sentence, I would say Heist on the Moon, because our main character Jasmine is super intellectually smart and savvy, and she is on a mission to get rich quick. But to do so, she has to become a criminal mastermind, which sounds like cake. It sounds like a journey where she went into it, you know, just to get rich, and then it ends up putting her life on the line. This just sounds like a great October read. My favorite books to read are contemporaries, like contemporary YA, and October, well, there's only gonna be one. This is released by Patrick Ness, and I did already start reading it. It's so weird and like flat kind of feeling that I just don't really like it so far. I'm sorry. This follows Adam Thorne. He is gay and the son of a preacher. So you can guess that his life is not going smoothly. And having started already reading it, I do like that he sounds very sure of himself. Adam is gay, that's how he is. He's confident in himself. Adam also has a brother who knows he's gay without Adam actually having to tell him, and then his brother ends up confessing that he got a girl pregnant. So these boys aren't really living easy, young, adolescent lives, considering they live in a very religiously strict household. What's confusing me about this book, and a lot of other people have said this in their reviews on Goodreads, every other chapter delves into some sort of weird fantasy thing, but they're really short chapters, so I can't really get very much from this world. There's a queen and a fawn and a girl. And the girl was probably the one who died from the meth overdose that happens early on in the book. This is one of those books where you assume it's gonna feel a certain way, and then there's other parts of it that's like confusing. Hopefully it's okay. The last physical book that I plan to read in October is 172 Hours on the Moon. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Another moon book? So this month I will be reading all of the moon books that I own. This book is by Johan Harstad. I think this author is Norwegian or Swedish. Norway. Look at this copy. and tell me how ugly it is? Oh, I know. I bought a really cheap one. Now I know why. I probably bought this in October like 2 years ago because it was kind of swirling its way through BookTube and people were saying that it was scary and creepy and great. And I'm like, I'll take it. In this book, NASA hosted some sort of lottery contest thing where you could enter your name and win a chance to go to the moon. And no one's been on the moon in decades, for good reason. We've got 3 main characters who are chosen to go to the moon. Their names are Mia, she's from Norway, Midori, who is from Japan, and Antoine, who is from France. And something sinister awaits them on the moon. The synopsis on the back is literally this big. It implies that there are probably monsters or some sort of creature thing on the moon that's going to brutally attack and kill them, probably. My guess is that one of the 3 survive. I'm optimistic. I kind of doubt that I'm going to be able to read all of these books, but there are 2 more that I want to talk about quickly, and they are my audiobooks that I pre-ordered. I believe it's October 1st that The Rule of One is released. This is by Leslie and Ashley Saunders. I talked about this book a little bit in my most anticipated fall releases video. It sounds so good. I love twin books. I just think they're so interesting. I have a couple. It's especially thrilling when they're identical twins. And The Rule of One is set in a world where you are only allowed to have 1 child, but a family has identical twin girls, and these girls basically live as one person, and they take turns going outside, and they go by one name, and they pretend like they're the same person. 2 booktubers that we all probably know and love interviewed the identical twin authors of this book. I'll link that video in the description below if you're interested. The other audiobook that I pre-ordered comes out on October 2nd, and that is Muse of Nightmares by Lanny Taylor. This is, of course, the sequel to Strange the Dreamer, and I feel like I keep mentioning it in all my videos, but it's a thing that's blowing up right now, and everyone's having a great time with it. I talked about 10 books, 8 physical, 2 audio. I plan on listening to both audiobooks, of course, but I don't think I'm gonna get to all 8 books, so let's say 6 of those books will be read by my brain this month. I think I'm gonna read Vicious this month and probably Vengeful next month, so this will be on my November TBR. Also, stop putting stickers on books, jerks. Alright guys, that is all I have to talk about for today. This has been my October TBR. Hopefully I can stick with it. I'm not really good at TBRs, but I am motivated. I can do this. I'm going to. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep liking, keep commenting. Happy readings everybody, and have a most creepy October.